Squash gnocchi is a specialty of northern Italy. So instead of potatoes as the main starch, we are going to use butternut squash today to create a kind of softer, beautiful first dish. We're going to make the gnocchi and then cook them on the induction cooktop in boiling water. We really love the Miele induction cooktop here at Caplan's. What we love about it is how quickly we can boil water, how easy it is to control, and because we cook all day long, how wonderful it is to clean. We just wipe it with a cloth. So the first thing we're going to do to make the squash gnocchi is take the diced steamed butternut squash out of the steam oven, and I'll show you how to make them. So you want the butternut squash to be very, very soft, because we are going to mash it into the gnocchi. So you don't want it to be firm at all. So we take our squash and we're going to put it into a big bowl. To the diced squash, we're going to add some kosher salt first. I'm going to use 2 egg yolks only. I'm going to forget about the whites because I don't want that liquid. Next, we're going to add some grated Parmigiano Reggiano. And the last thing is the flour. I'm going to slowly add it. Now, you can take this mixture and put it into a food processor and blitz it smoothly. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way and mash it. Because the squash is so soft, it should be fairly easy to turn it into a smooth paste. And we're almost done, finishing to incorporate all the flour. And we have a beautiful, brightly colored orange dough. So let's form the gnocchi now. Because we're using squash and not potatoes, which we can roll out into a firmer dough and cut. These are going to be shaped more like quenelle, and we're going to use 2 spoons to do that. I'll show you how. But first, I'm going to turn on the induction cooktop, and I'm going to get my water boiling. I'm going to salt it. That way, when the water's boiling, as I start to form the gnocchi, I can drop them into the salted boiling water, and in a few minutes they'll be ready. Actually, you'll see when they start to float, that's when you know they're ready. The water is almost boiling because it's Miele induction, so it's very, very fast. It's salted, and with 2 spoons, I'm just going to form the gnocchi. We have a really vigorous boil now, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit and drop the first one in. They're starting to float at the top of the pot now, so you can see that they're ready. Remember, everything in them is cooked except the egg, so really it doesn't take very long. And there they are, ready. See how firm they are once they've cooked? And still, of course, on the induction, we're going to set the heat to a high heat so we can warm up our pan. To that, we're going to add some sweet butter. And this is going to be our main condiment, so be generous with the butter. We're going to take fresh sage leaves. It's a perfect combination with squash. It's also a classic combination. Once the butter is nice and hot, I'm going to add my whole sage leaves. They're going to kind of lightly fry and release all of their flavor into the butter. The sage leaves look great, so now we can drop our cooked gnocchi into, and here the gnocchi go. We're just going to make sure they're tossed perfectly in the butter and sage and get them a little bit golden, but you don't want to fry them. And I want to do 2 things that are very, very classic to, especially Mantova, that area around there. We are going to include the sage leaves. They're so beautiful, especially with the orange color. And be generous with drizzling the butter over. We're going to finish them with 2 things that are really classic in northern Italy. One is fresh nutmeg, finely grated, not a lot. And it seems very strange, but it's a great addition, crushed amaretti cookie. You just want to elevate the squash flavor, the earthiness of the sage, and then there's a sweet bitterness of the amaretto cookie. And it wouldn't be the same without a little dusting of Parmigiano Reggiano grated on top. That is a classic, classic dish. And we'll just garnish with some fresh sage. And there we have these gorgeous, gorgeous squash gnocchi, sage, nutmeg, amaretti, made in the steam oven and the Miele induction cooktop here at the gallery.